And the problem with the migration debate in this country is that it seems to me, depending on who you listen to, we need a lot more migrants to come in, but actually we have too many. Right? In other words, it seems to be both, if you believe all the noise that's going around the ether. I thought the best column I read about all this wasn't specifically about migration, but it was a piece by Matthew Paris in the Times about why so many people are coming in from abroad. They're coming, a lot of it, to students, yes, and we're helping out people from Ukraine and Hong Kong and so on. But also a lot of people are filling jobs British people simply don't want to do. Yeah. There are 5 million people in this country who now don't want to turn up and do a day's work. And I'm sorry, a lot of them are skivers, and they are manipulating a system, particularly, it seems, from Matthew Paris's piece, very well sourced, in the area of mental health.
Yeah, so, I mean, this is a challenge across Europe, and I think the other thing we have to accept as politicians is we're in the foothills of the migrant crisis. This is not going to go away. In fact, with things like climate change and insecurity around the world, whether that be in Europe or in the Middle East, it's going to get worse. So politicians need to come up with an answer to this quick, and the answer isn't the hate ideology sort of pushed by people like Geert Wilders and other people on the far right of politics. Since we left the European Union, the government controls most of the levers on legal migration. There's things like the salary cap, which is currently 26,200. I mean, that's far too low. If you want high-skilled immigration, do not set your salary cap below the average UK salary.
How do we get the skivers back to work?
But, you know,
because they're clearly gaming the system.
We've got to stop people bringing workers into the country to fill low-skilled jobs at a lower salary than a British person would do it.
Kevin,
so that's a quick way you can do it. You can put that up to 40 grand.
You can,
and you could deal with this very quickly.
That's not the problem I'm talking about, Kevin. The problem I'm talking about is if we could just persuade what looks to me like a work-shy country to get back to work. Obviously, some of them have got legitimate claims to be off sick. But I'm sorry, 5 million people, it's crap.
Yeah, well, you're going to have to attack a long-term sickness, you're going to ill health, disability. If you can't do one job, can you do another job?
Several million are claiming mental health issues, anxiety and so on, right?
Yep.
This has got completely out of control.
Yeah. I've always believed if you can work, you should work and pay your way. But there you'll have to have a health service that functions, and you will have to have a lot of counsellors who will be dealing with people who at the moment say they have problems going to work. And look, and not everybody with a mental illness is making it up.
No.
And I know just sometimes because you can't see it, you think it's not there.
But I'm sorry, it's several million people basically running to their doctors and getting signed off as mentally ill.
The challenge is, for decades, we have allowed the answer to low-paid work not to be actually let's invest in productivity and make that job a higher-paid job. Let's bring people into the country to do those jobs. That's why I go back to the point, and you slightly dismissed it, and I'm just going to pick you up on that because I think you're wrong. This idea that you can bring people in to earn 26 grand, it is wrong. It's wrong for the economy.
No, I don't disagree with that.
And it's wrong for British people
who
want those jobs working, things like hospitality, to be proper paid jobs.
I agree.
If you want to get people off the dole, give them a decent job.
I actually agree with you about that. But on the students thing, it's complicated. We want to bring the bright students into the country to help our universities who've been struggling financially.
But don't let them bring their families in.
Yeah, but who do you leave out of their families? Can they bring their wife, their kids, both? I mean, you know, these are serious questions.
I think it's direct dependence, close dependence you can bring in.
But you know what it says to me, Kevin? I don't think the government has thought through any of these policies.
But you know what, students, they come in, they pay more than a British-born...
7 grand to do a medical degree.
Huge amounts of money.
A year.
And then they go around the world, or sometimes they're allowed to stay here, but they go around the world thinking, well, of Britain. It's a great way of extending Britain.
Final question. Is it going to cost them the election, the Conservatives, if they don't get this right, either legal or illegal immigration?
No, I think the economy and the fact that most households will be £1,900 worse off than the last election is what's going to cost them the election.
How big will immigration...
It will be a big issue, and what I'd say is the Labour Party's got no answer. So people, I think, will give the Prime Minister and his team quite a lot of credit for trying to deal with this. The Labour Party's answer is just bring more people in.
Actually, the Labour Party said end the 20% reduction on wages.
Leave it there. Chaps,
You'd agree with Labour.
Thank you both very much.